I'm Iain Oldman, and this morning we're sitting in at the Center for Media Innovation with the Globe's editor-in-chief, Alexander Popichak. He's the editor-in-chief of the student newspaper here at Point Park University. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming to the studio with us.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about the Globe's website. You've had it for 1 year. It's new. What do you think about it, and what are the advantages of it as opposed to the last website you had?
So the website we had before this, you didn't have a lot of control over the website itself. With the new website, we have a WordPress, and it's called Snow, Student Newspaper Online backend to manage everything. And pretty much everything that you see on our website can be managed by us. We can change the colors, we can change the fonts, we can change anything. So the first big thing with having the new website is control. The second thing, and this is one of the main selling points to students, is that when you contribute to the Globe, it says who every article is by, but that name is a link, and that link compiles all of the stories that person has written for us since their start at Point Park, and in this case, since the start of the first website. So we were able to migrate everything over and get everybody's names over. So that's one of the very exciting things with the new website, is that we have a lot more flexibility with what we can put up there, and that the students can get basically a portfolio generated for them with no effort on their part, and really no effort on our part either.
Does that website allow you to sort of grow your multimedia presence as well? A lot of newspapers are getting away from strictly print. They're getting into radio, they're doing video, and do you think your website will allow you to expand on that?
Absolutely. There is an add-on that we haven't done much work with. We have been testing it over the course of the year when we had the Diane Rehm interviews specifically, where we can embed a YouTube video into the system, like into the website itself, and it has its own byline system, and it has its own credit. So when that person is linked there, it'll have, because that's the other thing about the portfolio page, it'll say what they contributed. So in this case, it'll say video by whatever, and so whenever you click on that person, it'll have video as a credit line. So we can do that with video. We're trying to figure out how to do that same thing with audio. And we're looking to our media partners at UView and WPPJ to kind of help us out with generating that kind of content and figuring that out. But the website has capabilities that we have no idea how to use yet, and we're working on learning on how to use those.
So what are some projects, what are some examples that you can implement multimedia on?
So two of the main projects this semester that we've worked on that have involved that, first off being the inauguration. When we went to Washington, D.C., we worked with our media partners at UView and WPPJ, and what we did is we built, they call it a long form built by chapter. It's this giant scrolling page where as you scroll, different media elements come up. And so you had our standard story, but you also saw our photography in the stunning, huge slideshow that we had there. You saw the Facebook Live dispatches from the folks at UView, and you saw the WPPJ little SoundCloud embeds that were there. So we've been working on into our regular workflow, this kind of multimedia content where you can, as you're going, so it's not intrusive, but as you're going, you can select what you want to get out of that experience. So we've been looking into the relationship between print and multimedia, because right now we're pretty much, you put the print story up there, and if you have a picture, rad. If you don't, we make a graphic for you, and that's that. We're looking beyond that moving forward here.
So how are stations like UView or WPPJ sort of taking from the Globe in that sense?
So for a long time, without telling us, UView and WPPJ, for some of their shows, for their news updates, they would read the Globe and then take our headlines and take our stories and turn them in without us even interacting with them. So moving forward, we want to build those better partnerships so that we can give them the stuff that they need, and then they can in turn work with us in our multimedia goals. Because the idea at the end of the day is to build the next generation of journalists and to offer all the opportunities that we can. So what we started just this semester is every Monday when we put together the Globe, I'll send an email over to the practicum student at WPPJ. I'm the news director over at WPPJ, and so I'll send the practicum student everything that's going on, and she can pick what she wants out of it. But it's those kind of partnerships where they're getting the content and the journalism on the ground that we create, and we in turn are working with them on new multimedia projects.
You brought up Facebook Live when you're talking about the inauguration. Social media keeps bringing up new tools, inventing new tools for media organizations to use. Do you see the Globe really implementing a lot of social media tools as a way to not only present stories but interact with the campus?
Absolutely. I can't promise anything, but what we are looking into with our social media team is moving beyond self-promotion and more toward towards serving the audience with more engaging content, more channels. And again, that we do want to work with WPPJ and UView on that, because to be completely honest with you, we've perfected the art of building a print product that looks good and will go online well. But moving forward into having new tools like Facebook Live, like embedding, we created a Twitter moment around the inauguration day. What we're trying to do is test a little bit of everything, see what works, see what doesn't, see what resonates with the audience, because we don't want to invest a lot of time and effort into something that doesn't work. We want to try it, but we don't want to say, okay, every story needs to have X, Y, Z. So it's kind of adapting and moving around in that sense, if that answers the question.
Sure. I mean, do you anticipate, or how do you think you can use those tools in stories? Have you thought beyond just the broad spectrum of it?
We've thought about, again, it comes down to a story by story. We don't really think there's enough of a personality at this point behind the brand to do, every Wednesday we're going to do a Q&A with whoever on Facebook Live. I don't think there's the audience for that, and I don't think on our end we can generate that kind of a content. But at the same time, when we're in a news situation, I want to give our journalists the ability to go out live and have us push that live so you can be immersed in the story that you can't necessarily get to. And then we'll add that into the end result of our product. But even with when our journalists tweet quotes from interviews that they're in or rallies that they're at, that kind of content is what I see us doing more on a journalist by journalist basis as opposed to across the board. So again, I think it's one of those things where you have to ask, is it worth going into a live setting? Is it worth live tweeting? Is it what kind of medium works best with the story that you're working with?
Well, it all sounds exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing it next semester.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sitting in with me today, Alex.
Thanks for having me.
All right. I'm Iain Oldman. Thank you.